Hey guys, in this video we're going to be checking out the new iSDT D2 charger, and I've previously reviewed these two other older chargers on my channel before from iSDT, the SC608 and the Q6 Plus. I used to use some of those older 4-button chargers to charge my batteries before, and now I pretty much just use these iSDT chargers. They just have better features, they just work better, I just trust these more. Now, these older chargers here, they were meant for field charging. So you would plug in an XT60 battery here, usually like a giant 5 or 6 cell battery, and then you would charge your smaller batteries through these side ports here, and same with the Q6 Plus input here, output here. But I would use both of these at home with basically these like large power adapters, basically large laptop bricks that would then actually, for this one I did a video where I modded a old laptop power supply, and I put an XT60 connector on there so I could power this charger so I could charge at home instead of in the field. And then when this one came out, this Q6 Plus came out, there was an available basically power brick, so you could plug in. They already had an XT60 on it that you could plug into this charger to charge your batteries at home. Now they've come out with basically this large charger that you can charge at home. It's got dual channels, so you don't have to have two of these anymore. Put these aside. You have two channels. It's basically two chargers in one box, and there's no external power supply. The power supply is now inside. All you need is the power cord, which is included, and I'll plug this in here in a second. There's two fans on the side here. And that's pretty much it. It's very simple, but the user interface, the way you charge everything, is exactly the same as on the other iSDT chargers. There might be some slight differences in terms of firmware, but they pretty much work the same. Obviously, because there's only one screen that's being shared between the two different channels, or basically two chargers. I'll show you here in a second how that's actually being managed. You can switch back and forth between the two different channels while you're charging stuff. You got the same wheel control system here, wheel, and basically you press to select. You got your two channel outputs here, you got your balance leads and your XT60 connectors, and then in this one has a 5 volt 2 amp USB charging capability. And then your firmware updates are through the same audio jack dongle that you have to get to do the firmware updates. So to power it on, you just plug it in. I did wish they had a power switch on here, but apparently that's a feature that they somehow overlooked, because every time you want to unpower this, you have to unplug it from the wall. I happen to have this plugged into a power strip, and then when I went to power down all my battery chargers, I just flicked the switch on the power strip. But go ahead and we'll plug this in and power it up. And you can see here we got these dual screens for channel 1 and channel 2, and you would just select the channel by hitting this button here. Now we select channel 1 and then channel 2. And you can see that the interface, once you've selected the channel, is going to be pretty much the same. We'll go through some of that here in a second. But if you press the channel again, then you get the split screen, and that shows sort of like less information, sort of summarized what's going on in each of the channels. If right now obviously nothing's going on, and then you just select the channel itself or select the other channel, and if you press the button again, then you get the split screen. So go ahead and I'll demo charging up some batteries. Now, if you if your batteries don't have an XT60 connector, you will need to make some sort of an adapter, and I made adapters for my batteries because most of my batteries are the ones, at least for the micros, they have either the JST or the XT30. So I just made these little adapters here where it's a little splitter here between the JST and XT30. I can just plug in one or the other, and then obviously when I want to charge an XT60, I just unplug these and then just charge a regular XT60 battery. So I'll go ahead and I'll plug in this 450 2S battery into channel 1. And as soon as you plug it in, you can see the voltage reading of the battery shows up, and then you got to plug in the balance lead. And then once you plug in the balance lead, you get basically the low and high volt readings of all the cells. This is only 2 cells, so you get only the two there. And if you press the channel selection, then the screen goes to the normal one that you would see on the SC608 or the Q6 Plus. And you can see that after a while it'll time out and go back to this split screen here, the summarize screen. If you select channel, you can see the voltage readings of the individual cells, and it goes up to 6 cell obviously. Now if you want to start charge, you would press this dial, and then it brings up the task settings, and it already can detect what type of battery it is, that it is a 2S. And here you can then change what you want to do. You can charge, you can discharge or storage charge. That hasn't changed. Battery type here you can select is either the regular LiPo battery, or you can go high volt, and you can also charge lithium ion, Li-Fi, lead acid, and nickel metal cadmium batteries. So basically the whole range of batteries. And when you do select lithium high voltage, it does go to 4.35 volts. But I'm going to go back to LiPo. And then here under the amp setting, you can select the number of amps you want to charge the battery at. Since this is a 450, I typically charge at 2C, so that would be 0.9 amps. And I believe this goes up to 12 amps on each channel. So the maximum you can charge is at 12 amps. Obviously you only want to do that with a very large battery. This is a small battery, and 12 amps will probably blow up the battery, so you don't want to do that. But it's nice to have that you have the capability of charging really large batteries if you need to. So I'll just charge at 2C, and then we'll start. And then it goes in, and it has a orange color when it's charging. And I'll show you what happens when we do storage charging here in a second. So it shows you the volt reading on here, and then it goes to the summary, so you can see that we're charging this channel and nothing going on this channel here. And then it shows here your milliamps that are being pumped into the battery, so 3 milliamps on this battery, and the overall volt rating as well. So this is summary screen here on this side. Okay, so we'll plug in another battery here in the second channel, and then plug in the balance lead. And then we can select this channel. We can see that we're at 3.75, 3.76. In this case, I'm going to do a discharge on this one. And then you can go down to 3.3 volts, or you can change it to pretty much whatever you want. So I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm just going to go down, I just do this for demo purposes. And then the current setting is 0.2 amps. You can also discharge at a higher level, so I'm going to do 0.4, and then we'll go ahead and start. And you can see that when we're discharging, the color is pink. And then we can see we got a negative amp reading on this side where we're discharging, and we got orange over here where it's charging. And we can see that the number of milliamps that are being taken out of the battery are also displayed here as well. Now you can hear that the fan is going. It is kind of loud, so just if you want this in a quiet room, it's probably not a good idea. The fan does come on when you're charging and discharging. Go ahead and select this channel again, and I will then stop this. And I think that when you're discharging, it does. Because it generates a lot of heat, the discharge process, the fan does come on more often than when you're doing discharging. So in this case, I'm going to change this task from discharge to storage charge, and we'll do 3.85, and we'll do that at 0.9 amps. Oops. And then we'll start. You can see here then we're storage charging, the color is purple. So it's kind of nice that it's color coded here, so you can't see that it's what's going on exactly necessarily, but you know that orange is charging, purple is storage charging, and pink is discharging. And then when you have the summary screen here, you can just see what's going on here. Okay, so then we'll go ahead and we'll stop this over here. And just because I have a 2S battery on this channel doesn't mean that I have to have a 2S battery on this channel. I can actually have any kind of battery on this other channel because they're completely independent. So we'll go ahead and unplug this. And I got a 4-cell battery here. And you can see that it's detected that it's a 4-cell battery. It shows you your battery voltages. And then you select the channel and you got the individual voltages here. And we can see that when you go into the task settings, it can tell it's a 4S battery. So you can charge a 2S battery, 4S battery, whatever combination you want, because they're basically two completely independent chargers. we'll go ahead and we'll just do a discharge here on this one. And you can see the fan comes on right away. Okay, we'll go ahead and stop this. So yeah, this is a fantastic charger. I really like these chargers from iSDT. The interfaces are very intuitive and very easy to use. Also, you get a lot of information. Also, I forgot to mention that just like on the other chargers, you can get, when you get to the screen here, you can scroll down and get internal resistance numbers, and then also scroll down one more time, and it shows you how many times they've been charged on that channel. So 34 batteries are been charged on the channel so far. It shows you the temperature and also the watt rating. So basically, this charger works exactly the same as the Q6 Plus or the SC608. It's just that it has a built-in power supply. It's just basically two chargers in one unit. It's very nice and convenient, especially for home charging. Obviously, because there's no XT60 connector on this, you can't do field charging with this one. So, leave that to the smaller Q6 Plus or the SC608. Anyway guys, that's going to do it for this video. I highly recommend this charger if you want to find a replacement charger for your home charger. And the fact that they can do two channels at the same time is great. It's basically two chargers in one. Additionally, you can plug in your parallel charging boards. I did do a video about that on the older chargers. Obviously, this wouldn't change for this one. You can definitely do parallel charging this one as well. Anyway, highly recommend this charger. I'll put a link in the description if you want to check it out, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video.